The war between the Federation and the Klingons, and consequently the war between the Klingons and the Cardassians, was not yet recognized to be engineered. Instead, it was thought that these conflicts occurred naturally, and were in no way manipulated by some higher power. However, as time went on, rumors began to spread that these were not natural wars, and were rather orchestrated by a higher power in order to weaken the Alpha and Beta Quadrant nations, possibly as a precursor to an invasion and future conquests. The Dominion had done this through the usage of spies, kidnapping officials, and infiltrating the higher governance of these powers. Tensions between the Dominion and the Alpha and Beta Quadrant powers continued to grow, eventually turning into a blazing fire. The Cardassian Union effectively became a puppet of the Dominion, while the Federation built a minefield along the Bajoran wormhole. Open war began when the Dominion demanded the Federation remove these mines, and were subsequently rejected. A Dominion Cardassian task force took Deep Space Nine with ease. When the threat was clear, the Federation and the Klingons established a formal alliance, with the intent of preventing the Dominion from invading the Alpha and Beta Quadrants, and subsequently relegating its inhabitants to mere subjects under its banner. As the war progressed, the Dominion successfully invaded and occupied systems within the Federation. During the battle in the Tier system, the Federation suffered a catastrophic loss when the Third Fleet was nearly destroyed. Victory for the Federation-Klingon alliance was almost laughable, and the alliance was merely a ticking bomb. In 2374, decorated Federation Captain Benjamin Sisko led a task force to retake Deep Space Nine, as a major alliance victory was needed if the war was to be won. And a victory it was. The Dominion retreated to Cardassian space following this defeat. They established ties with the Orion Syndicate in a plot to assassinate a Klingon diplomat, but this ended in disaster. The Dominion launched a surprise invasion of Betazet, a significant member world of the Federation, taking it within 10 hours. The Federation's Second Fleet launched several counterattacks to retake Betazet, but all of them were repulsed, ending in a strategic victory for the Dominion. The Romulan Star Empire remained in a state of neutrality throughout the conflict. They had no intentions of joining either side, but the Dominion pushed them to their limits and played their cards unwisely. The Romulan Star Empire declared a state of war against the Dominion. When the Dominion plans to invade the Empire were found by the Tal Shiar, with this, the tide within the war began favoring the Federation alliance, with the Romulan Star Empire committing fully to it. The alliance had begun to see decisive victories, but at a great cost. Dominion-Cardassian relations would begin to strain due to the increasing number of victories by the Federation alliance. The Dominion started to blame Cardassian military forces for the defeats. In efforts to rejuvenate its previous stance in the war, the Dominion would enter negotiations with the mysterious Breen Confederacy. In exchange for entering the war, the Breen Confederacy would receive territory from the Cardassian Union. When the Breen Confederacy entered the war, an attack was launched on Starfleet headquarters itself, damaging it and the San Francisco Bay with it. This, alongside the Second Battle of Chintoka, would become morally devastating to the Federation alliance. The Cardassians would rebel against the Dominion, to which they would be supplied by the Federation alliance. The Cardassian rebel early successes would be short-lived. Gul Revok had betrayed the rebellion, and the Dominion-Breen alliance destroyed all rebel bases. Despite this, the Federation alliance adopted an advanced technology from the Dominion and Breen warships, and the Dominion retreated from conquered territories in order to rebuild. The Federation alliance would soon launch an invasion on Cardassia. Concurrently, the Cardassian citizenry would rebel against Dominion rule, causing Cardassia to be bombarded by Dominion attacks. A female founder would be captured by Cardassian rebels and convinced by Odo for the Dominion, in its entirety, to surrender to the Federation alliance. This succeeded, and the Dominion War concluded with the Treaty of Bajor. The Dominion War shifted the political balance of power significantly. The Cardassian Union collapsed completely, with the majority of its population slaughtered at the hands of the Dominion, Breen Confederacy, and Federation Alliance during the war. The Klingon Empire experienced extreme casualties and entered a state of recovery. The United Federation of Planets and the Romulan Star Empire would remain as the two superpowers within the Beta and Alpha quadrants. This was no longer the case, however, when the sun of Romulus went supernova, destroying the Romulan capital and further damaging relations between the Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets, who abandoned the Romulans when aid was needed most. The United Federation of Planets would be left as the sole hyperpower, with no other nation in its vicinity to challenge its might in the coming future. Whatever the future holds, it would be determined by them, planting seeds for an uneasy era of unprecedented peace. Already, after 5 years of its conclusion, conspiracy arises that the Dominion War never occurred, and the changelings never existed. Whatever secrets of the Dominion War left uncovered, they will be discovered by future generations.